That is so weird. All right. Now just waiting for Carl to come back on. Try it on this page. That is so weird. That is so weird. It won't show up. He's my friend and everything. He won't show up. Here, let's try this. Yes, it's working. It's working. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Hey, we made it work.
Yeah. That's right, brother.
Who would have thought the first thing to check was if we were friends?
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Well, we did it.
Can you? Are you
Are
buying
you buying anything? Your voice sounds reverb.
So does yours, actually. Yours is actually, you sound like you're in a fish tank.
All right. You sound good.
You sound good now.
Okay.
I'll just let
I'll
you
just
talk.
let you talk.
So,
Don't do that. I'll get myself in way too much trouble. You just ask me questions and I'll stick to it.
okay, Carl.
Okay, Carl.
So glad you're
Glad you're on the night.
Glad we're able to get this going. So
what do you got?
Before I forget, because I will, because my memory's bad. Ask anybody who knows me. You know, we do a lot with the community. We just always have. I was born with no money, been poor my whole life. You guys would laugh at the vehicles I drive. I'm a very unassuming person. And we love the fact that because of what I built, we can help so many people. So getting back to your buddy, um, let's do what we can. I got a warehouse full of, in my opinion, the best roller bags on the market. Let's donate 10 of those so he can sell them, raffle them, whatever. That would help him. And then 10 of our Steve Whaley signature Warthog bats.
wow.
You guys raffle them, sell them, whatever you want to do. Hopefully he can generate a little bit of money to make some kind of difference for the poor guy. But that's what we do all the time for anybody that we can. Um, and if you were to come in and look at my books, they're not impressive. We do move more ASA bats than anybody on the market, probably by quite a bit. But we don't really make any money doing it because I spend a lot of money on my guys. I spend a lot of money helping people. You know, every time we do a fundraiser bat, and we do a couple thousand a year, we're giving away a bat to a couple thousand people at no profit. And those were people who would typically buy a bat, and we can put that money in your pocket. But since I'm not really a money guy, I don't care. I'd much rather go to something like this. So let's do 10 of our signature Steve Whaley Warthogs and 10 of our roller bags, and maybe the guy can make a little bit of money to help out. I don't know. It's tragic what he's going through, and you know, our prayers are with him that hopefully somehow everything works out for him. But we can at least do that. Maybe that'll help.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Carl.
God bless
God
you.
bless you.
I'm floored
right now.
But you can get the stuff to me, or we can get his address and you can send it to him. But I'll be more than happy to deliver it personally to him.
Well, I think we need to maybe, so he doesn't have to do all the work or somebody else does it. I'll have one of my guys just do the raffles. Raffles always raise more money. And you have to be honest, we don't raffle for profit. If we do a raffle, it's a fundraiser to go to somebody or something. Now, we do our gold edition bats to help me um, basically finance my team, but I'm not doing that this year. So we're going to spread the love, and instead of paying 18 guys, like I mentioned, spending $300,000 on 18 guys for just a few events, because that's all it has, I'm going to we still have a team. Whaley's got an amazing team. When you guys see the roster for our team, it's even better than last year's. But so let's help out as much as we can. We can do that. So let's do that.
Thank you, Carl.
I appreciate that so much.
I'll get you his
information and his Venmo and all that.
Yeah, we'll send him. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Between 10 bats and 10 roller bags, we got to be able to send a guy $6,000-7,000.
Oh, definitely. Wow.
Now, we're going to have to say we didn't do it because taxes. It didn't really happen.
Right.
Watching. This was just a suggestion. Yeah.
Carl.
We'll take care of it.
I appreciate that, man. That is big. Unbelievable. I'm just stoked right now.
I can't help everybody, but I help when I can. I don't hear every story, and I don't help every story that I hear, because unfortunately what we have found throughout the years is we've been had a few times we've given people $25,000, $30,000 only to find out it was used for very bad stuff. And that's a little disappointing. It's disheartening to know that this is where we are in the world today, that people will take advantage of these situations. So there's nothing harder than having to read these stories that I get pretty much on a daily basis, and I have to pick and choose when I can and can't help. And the hardest thing to do is to have to tell somebody no, but I can't help everybody. So I pick and choose. That upsets some people, but I can only do what I can do. And this is one thing where, we can help. It's not bad for your show either, so I think it's something we should do.
Absolutely. So again, thank you, Carl. And I'll get you all that information for you.
Yep.
Man, that's just great. Wow. I'm speechless here. So I guess we need to ask, you got some bats coming out. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, we always have bats coming out. We just can't. I just hired 3 more people. We cannot keep up. Which looking like we could. Well, we've already shattered our records for sales. But let's talk about the reality of what's going on right now. I've worked on this new bat, this new technology called the Hype, since 2018. I developed it in, I want to say it was July of 2018. I called in our manufacturer. They flew in from overseas. I explained to them what we wanted to do. We had the prototype sent. They worked fantastic. They were amazing. Laser Dave tested them. We all tested them. And I mean, with just flicking the wrist, the guys were hitting the ball 430 feet with a 22-ounce bat. So we were super excited. We sent it in for testing. Testing is a weird thing. Bats don't always test at Washington State like they perform in the field. We're not sure why. I've always argued with Washington State that rolling a nonlinear bat is a terrible idea. It does 2 things. I know they're trying to break it in, and it's much cheaper than having a person sit there and hit a bat till it breaks. Let's face it, some of these bats can, we got bats out that have 10,000 swings on them. So they use this process, but the process for nonlinear, it can make a bat that would pass 100 times if it wasn't rolled, not pass because it was rolled. And the flip side of that is it can make a bat that shouldn't pass, pass. But we all go by the same standard, so we accept that. So anyway, in testing, these bats were phenomenal, better than anything we've ever put together. And it didn't matter who was hitting them. Big hitters, little hitters, they were just phenomenal. So we run out our first batch, and we've probably already sold about 10,000 of those. Over cook the bats and the FIBs, and you can't look at a bat and tell that it's good or bad. You have to start swinging it. If you compression test it and you weigh it, you do all the things you're supposed to do, and they're all within tolerance or spec, you expect it's going to be good. Well, they weren't. So we're dealing with that. We've got this great reputation for having the hottest, most durable, high-performance ASA bats in the world, and rightly so. Nobody's been able to beat us. I know there's a lot of talk from another competitor, but that's all it is talk. We know the reality. When you look at the people reviewing bats that aren't connected with anybody, we come on top every time. It's really not even close. But so we're dealing with that right now. It's anything that's got the hype shell. We ran out 8,000 of them. Unfortunately, they were all made about the same time, so we don't know which are good and which are bad. The people who have the good ones rave about them. They're just amazing. The people with the bad ones, they suck. It is what it is. But even though we sell no return bats, we stand behind the product, and we're replacing all those. And in some cases, people might get 2 replacements. It just depends. So that's what we got going on right now. But I'm working on some other stuff that's very top secret. I've got lots of patents filed for some very innovative things on the market. I have a design that I filed for patent, and I'm sure it'll be granted because nobody's doing it. It's remarkable. I call it PLT. I'm not going to go into what that stands for because it's going to be a giveaway. But it is a game changer for the market. It really is. It's just, it reduces production time by 25%. It reduces cost by 25%. It's just an amazing design. And in addition to the cost savings, the performance is unlike anything out there.
Yeah.
The same swing will produce an additional 10 to 15% performance. The same exit speed will give it 10 to 15% performance. It's that good. The problem is they've never seen anything like this before. So the first time we sent it in, they didn't know what to do. Carl, we can't test this. We're having problems. This is what's happening. I'm not going to get into what's happening because that gives away. But we basically have a bat that you cannot roll. And the industry's been looking for one of those forever. We have it. Well, what's the problem with that? They roll a bat to approve it. So how the hell do you approve a bat that you've been trying to legalize, basically meaning it can't be rolled, when your protocol says the bat has to be rolled? So that's a bit of a challenge that I'm trying to overcome right now. I think we'll get past it. And when it does, we already killed the market, but it's going to be really bad for everybody else. Good luck for them trying to sell anything.
Well,
I pitch and slow pitch.
I definitely like to get my hands on one because I do play ASA League, and it'd be fun. I did swing a friend of mine's bat, and I love the feel of it. I'm a balanced guy. So if you're not, you always JGI back. I mean, maybe Monsta.
You know what? If you paid attention this past year and a half, I've worked with a lot of people whom I felt like are doing good for the game. It started with Christian James. What an amazing gentleman that guy is. People talk about the work he does, and he gets haters on there and say just horrible things to him. I can tell you, I know Christian. I know what he's capable of. And if these people were to say those things to him in their face, he'd probably snap their neck. The dude's a tough dude. He may not look like it, but I know where he's coming from. So it started with him. And then, I like Josh Becker at Unicorn Sports. He's doing good things for the game. Rhino, Jesse, he's doing good things for the game. The War Stick Fellows, the Slow Pitch Bat Bros. So I'll be working with all those guys to do something for them that they would not normally get a chance to do. And that's because I like what they're doing. They're out there giving honest reviews. Are our bats always on the top for everyone? No, of course not. And they're not going to be. Even though the performance exceeds anything that's out there, not everybody cares for the swing weight of our bats. Not everybody likes to feel that impact of our bats. And let's be honest, there's a large portion of people who won't buy it because of me. And those people I could give a shit about. Again, I am not out here to grab every penny that there's out there. I tell people all the time, hey, you don't like my product? Fuck off. Go to a competitor. I don't need your money. I really don't. Right? You want to come to my page and cry and whine and talk shit? Go somewhere else. They get mad because I boot them from my site. Well, look, we try to have a drama-free site. You want to have drama? Go to one of those other pages where they like to do drama. We don't do drama at Monsta. We got enough of it going on. So, yeah, I bump heads with some people, but I'm a very unorthodox businessman. I don't want everybody's business. Not every customer is worth having, trust me. So I'm not going to change who I am. I've always been this way. I have people tell me, well, you know, if you would just mellow out on social media and sell so many bats. I can't keep up as it is. We're selling enough bats. And that's whether I offend people or not. And let's be honest, I'm never going to disrespect somebody who doesn't deserve it. I see a lot of things said that I don't comment on. And I tell people, look, you want to have that opinion, that's fine. But you're going to have that opinion on everybody else's side, not mine. We don't want the drama. And we'll remove posts that people get going, and they think we're removing the post because of what they said. But the reality is, I remove a lot of posts to protect those people, because if you've ever been on the militia page, it can get pretty tough. And they don't like you knocking me, they don't like you knocking Monsta, and they'll get on you pretty good. So a lot of times I remove people for their own good. They just don't understand it, and I get the PM later, and I have to explain to them, look, here's why, you know, you got booted. So I do get a bad rap, and there's 22 admins on our page because it's just so active. I very rarely remove people, just so you know, guys that are watching. I very rarely.
Carl,
can you let
can you let everybody know what your site is? A lot of people would like to know what it is, your group.
Well, we had to change the name. For 9 years, it has been called Monsta Militia, and we didn't create it, a fan did, and it just grew. So now all of a sudden, Facebook and Zuckerberg is removing all pages that use the reference militia. We're a softball bat fan page, but if you use the word militia, they deactivate your account. We had several reps who have years of pictures that are gone. They can't get them back because Zuckerberg and crew went through and just wiped out their accounts. They cannot get those priceless pictures back. So we had to change it. It is now called the Monsta Athletics fan page. And we have the most rabid, awesome fans there are. You got to remember, yeah, some people are a little bit overzealous, but these same people are going to line up to give help to your buddy who needs help. They're going to dole out more than they should for a bat just to help. And you don't get that from any other bat manufacturer's group of followers. You only get that experience from Monsta. We have the best fans. We got the best support, the most caring people that play softball are on our group. And they give. We're a conduit, and we allow, we give a platform. But the reality is, I lose profit on the sale of a bat, but these people are paying more than they should for a bat to help the person who needs it. Like I said, no other fan page or manufacturer's page does that, to my knowledge, not to that extent anyway. So that's the page. It's Monsta Athletics fan page. Eventually we'll go back to, Monsta Militia, because that's what we love. We have apparel and stuff on there, but right now they're being stupid with what's right now, and everybody's trying to be sensitive, and I get it. You know, there are some real issues going on, but I think we're getting to the ridiculous right now.
Awesome, Carl. I don't know if you had your hand on the mic, but you're coming through loud and clear now.
I probably did. I barely know how to turn this thing on, as I told you the other night. If you need any kind of technical assistance, you're shit out of luck, because I can't help.
Carl, I got another question for you. So you mentioned that you're going to put two teams together this year, and you want to build up a new company or new.
Not a new company. What we're doing is I'm not going to do the typical sponsorship that I've done since 2015, which means put a team together and then basically babysit that team all year long, overpay people who don't want to do their work, and be prepared for tournaments. We only have 3 friggin' tournaments, for crying out loud. So I'm not asking you to BP all year long for 3 tournaments, but when it's time to play, be ready to go. And my guys, they make a lot. They're way... Look, I brought on people in 2015 that nobody heard of. These guys were playing D's and C's in SoCal. And that itself is a whole different topic and a joke. But anyway, I'm over there. I find Laser Dave and McClanahan and D-Mac and T-Mart and Daco. And these guys are playing D's and C's locally. So we make our first trip to Corky's in 2015. And we immediately take out the defending A-champ Heartland by Mercy. This is with a throw together. We had a C squad. That's what our roster was. I knew right there that we had something special. And back then we didn't even have Laser and a bunch of these other guys. We truly had C ball players. So this year, Whaley's going to coach. Believe it or not, he's likes the idea of coaching. He's probably still going to play. He's very capable of still playing. But he's going to coach, and I'm covering all expenses for them to go to the particular tournaments. But we're not going to do what we were doing before. We're paying these guys $50,000, $75,000 a year to play 3 tournaments. It's just not. I just don't feel it's good for the game. It's good for those players, but I've learned that a lot of them come to just take it for granted and expect that, no matter how they behave or how they carry themselves or their lack of work ethic won't be a problem. Well, after 2019, it was a problem. So now I'd much rather sponsor 25 teams and grow the game that way and say, look, I'm going to try to do my best to encourage these teams from E all the way up to play all year long USA softball, because I believe they're the group of integrity. Do they have the product that USSSA does yet? No. As much as I hate USSSA, I'm going to give them the props that when you watch an event, it's a good product.
Yeah.
The challenge I have with them is they're liars, and they've done nothing but lie to me for 9 years. And that's why I don't have a U-Trip bat. They can say what they want. I was on the phone with junior and senior. I know what I was told many times, and they reneged on it. And to this day, I don't have a bat contract. So what do you do? And now seeing what I see, I don't want a bat contract from U-Trip, because there's some bullshit going on as far as I'm concerned. And I don't want to be part of it. So, you're not going to see a U-Trip bat from Monsta anytime soon. And I'm totally fine with that. I've lived 9 years without it.
Well, that leads me to my next question, Carl. You ever thought about getting a senior bat?
Yeah, we had one at one time.
Oh.
We had 3. They were early on in 2013, 2014. We brought it back in 15. Here's the problem for me. Because I'm not your conventional businessman, do you know how many more bats we could sell if I would just suck U-Trip's dick? Seriously. Do you know how many more senior bats I could sell to our customer base because it has an M on it? Millions.
Right.
Integrity isn't worth that. If I can't put out the best product, I'm not going to put it out. I don't need the money. The money isn't going to extend my life. It's not going to make it any better. It can't make sick people healthy. It might make you feel better for a minute, but that's not what I'm about. So when I can make the best senior bat, I'll make one. If I'm going to make a 3rd, 4th rate bat like all these new companies that are popping up with these senior bats and even these new U-Trip bats, like I said, there's a lot of bullshit going on in U-Trip right now, and I'm not saying it's all USSSA. Trust me, there's some startup companies that are pulling some crap, and I don't want to be part of that. Look, we've been doing this for 9 years and never had an issue with an association as far as questionable bats or anything like that. We've never had to do a recall at the request of an association. We get accused of a lot of things. Every time we beat Brett Helmer and boys, it's because we're using dirty bats. I begged and pleaded for Rich Chris to open up our bats when we beat the shit out of Brett and his boys in the 2017 Supers, and then we did it again at Corky's. And all he does, apparently, from what I'm told, is complain that we swing dirty bats. Open one up. Take one anytime you want. I make my guys send in their bats before nationals so I can be 100% certain that I'm not talking out my ass. Our bats are legit. They're stock. They're the exact same bat that you would buy off the shelf. They're just really good. And we got some really good players. And that's why we win. Not this other bullshit excuses that these poor losers come up with. You know, I mean, so when I can get a good senior bat, I will. And not until then.
Gotcha.
And that's very understandable. So I guess let's see. I was thinking, you could probably do pretty good sponsoring a 40s team. But I get the fact that we would be able to swing the bat because we don't have the same right now.
Right, and that's an issue. It's the same reason why we're not currently sponsoring the Fast Pitch Girls, which we will, because our Fast Pitch bats just started shipping out to everybody. They're landing. We know they're the best. The data shows it. It's right at 98 miles per hour, which is the absolute maximum performance a bat can be. And it basically did it out of the wrapper. So we know if there's no bat, I don't care if you're talking Easton Ghost, nothing from V. Marini, nothing from Louisville, nothing from anybody can compete with our new fast pitch height. It's just impossible because we're at the legal limit of performance. And it's all about the floating inner barrel. You know, there's been a lot of imitations, but in 5 years they still haven't caught me. So I like the fact that a high school dropout is out engineering the finest engineers in the world. What does that make me? I'm going to pat myself on the back. I am the best in the world at what I do. And they can argue it all they want, but the proof's in the pudding. They have not been able to out-design me yet. They're trying, but they haven't done it.
Attaboy, Carl.
And your bat's proven.
I'm saying the proof is in the pudding. When you go to nationals, I get PMs and texts from state directors all across the country. Every year at states, it says, you can't believe it's 85, 90% Monsta here. It's just incredible what you've created. That's awesome. I mean, when I go to the park incognito, I dig what I see. That's the best part about it. You know, from that part is just the overall best part about all that is because I'm successful, I get to help so many people. And since we've been doing this for 9 years, I'd be willing to bet if I check the books, we're well up over $500,000 in donations to people that need it. Kids need heart transplants, cancer treatments, people have lost their home to fire, single moms being thrown out. I mean, we've helped so many people, and we don't talk about it because we're not doing it for that. I'll bring it up now, but I'm not putting up specific stuff. But and some of that is because we don't want to tell people we just gave a family $30,000 because what if they have a tax lien or they owe debt? That money's not for that, or you get your hard up friends and family saying, hey, you just got all that money. So we keep all that quiet. We don't tell people what we did. But I'm certain if I look in the books over the last 9 years, it's well over $500,000 that we've given. I could have put that in my pocket. I could be driving a McLaren or a Ferrari or whatever, but that's
or
not
your
me.
truck.
Well, look, the truck. I'm just going to talk about that for a second. The truck got out of control. Okay, it wasn't supposed to be what it is. I built it and rebuilt it a few times, and nobody's more frustrated than I am. That I'm not going to say how much I have in. I have 2 trucks. I have a daily driver that costs more than a Mercedes, and I have a show truck that's actually a race truck that costs more than a Ferrari. I didn't mean for that to happen. Instead, so what am I doing while I'm waiting for these things to be finished? I've been buying up all these little cheap beaters and driving around. Like I just got rid of my '94 Blazer that had no headliner, no heater, no air conditioning. I needed a bath every time I got out of it, but I kind of dig pulling up at a gas station. And nobody knows who I am. They have no idea I'm worth millions of dollars. And I think that's the way it should be. If you meet somebody for the first time and you know they have money, that person is living wrong. That's just my opinion. So
Yep.
you know that. So anyway, my trucks are badass. I have a tendency to just overdo everything. If it isn't going to be the best, I don't want to do it. So unfortunately, I'm now stuck with a car that I've got so much money into that I probably couldn't sell for more than 30,000, and that would be lucky. So anyway, yeah, my truck's cool. It's badass. But let's talk more about softball.
So Carl, so when is your next tournament?
Well, what do you mean? One that we're going to host or one we're going to play in?
Play in.
Whaley's trying to get something together. Whaley's doing a great job. I love Texas. Look, I've been to most states in the country. Look, I'm all about America. I love our men and women of our military. I love our police.
Love that shirt.
Yeah, I'm all about it. Nowadays, it seems to not be popular, but I don't give a shit. If you want to hate on me because I love President Trump and I think he's doing a great job, then hate on me. You know, I see there's a lot of bad going on, and there's good reasons for that. But I'm a big, supporter of our country. But so Whaley's trying to get something together, probably like in February. And then I just talked with Rich Crest today from USA Softball. We are going to sponsor an event in Texas, a qualifier for supers, and I'm sure there'll be lower levels too. And we're going to put up a cash prize package, a good one. We want to look, there's a lot of ball down there in Texas, and every time we go, we have a great time. The people there are great. They're hospitable. The competition is very good. Never any big issues. So my goal is to set up shop in Texas at some point. We were hoping for end of next year. The wife's really fighting me on it. She, if you read her Facebook post, it's nothing but shitting all over California and the government, but I can't get her to leave. So I'm hoping the big one hits here soon and we barely survive, and it scares the shit out of her so we can move. I mean, I'm joking, but I'm serious because I want out of this godforsaken state. It's horrible.
You had a lot of close fires there.
Well, yeah, we have. It's just part of where we are. Everybody thinks that California is oceans and palm trees. Well, we're an hour and a half away from that. We get snow a couple times a year where we live, and it's considered rural for California. So, right behind our neighborhoods is rolling hills, and they tend to burn, especially after droughts. So, for whatever reason, this year we had 3 fires within just a mile and a half to 2 miles from us, and had the wind been blowing in the wrong direction, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation right now. We would have lost everything. But it blew the other way. A lot of people lost their homes. A few people lost their lives. In fact, one of the trucks I was working on, the fire got within 100 feet of it. And they evacuated my truck because they know how much money is in it. So the owner of the shop just drove it out of his shop because the fire came up right to his shop. And fortunately, there was a block wall, and it just kind of stopped the fire from spreading over just another, like probably less than 100 feet. But anyway, it's been a weird year with COVID and the fires and lawsuits and all this other bullshit.
That climate change is a big.
Yeah, we pretty much only have summer and winter. That's it. But mostly, it's fine. It gets a little bit hot in the winter. It doesn't get in the summer. It doesn't get too cold in the winter. We do get snow on occasion, but just enough to melt, make a snowman, and it's gone by morning. And even with that little bit, we still don't know how to act over here. We crash into each other and stuff. But yeah, I'd like to move to Texas. That's the plan. I don't know if it'll ever happen with me, but we're going to start to really focus on the BB core and the fast pitch bats because we have the design that's going to dominate those industries, just like the softball, but on a much larger scale. So I'm probably going to be turning over all slow pitch operations to 3 regional areas. I've already picked the companies, I've already spoken to those people, and they're going to move all of our slow pitch product. We don't have time. We need to, we're starting to do almost all the assembly now. I mean, all of it in-house, and then we're most likely at some point going to have everything in-house, meaning start to finish. We're going to produce our own shells, our own handles, knobs, end caps, everything in-house, and that's going to take a little bit of time. But until then, we have a manufacturer of carbon fiber products that we've reached out to, and they're going to start making some of our stuff. We've got to continue with the overseas stuff for a while because what people don't realize is you just can't divorce those companies because, as we found, they will sell your shit on eBay and they will devalue your product. And then you have to try to figure out counterfeit from real. And it's a friggin' nightmare. So you just can't cut those people loose. So slowly over time, we'll be 100% made in the USA. We can now label our stuff assembled in the US, which is more than I can say for the majority of the other manufacturers. Mike and Worth are building most of their stuff in Minnesota, and I commend them for that. But everybody else is still over there in China, and pretty much doing everything over there. And look, I'm not going to shit on them because that's what we have to do too. But the American people have to understand when we make this change, the cost is going to go up a bit. It just is. I'm paying my guys, a lot of money, and we now have 13 employees. I pay 100% of their benefits, and we have the top.
Uh-oh. Carl froze up. There you go.
There you go.
It doesn't get any better than the insurance we offer, but that's expensive. That's another reason why we don't turn a whole lot of profit. I know we've been offered a couple of times to be bought out, and the offer just wasn't good enough. Not for my patent portfolio that most people haven't seen. I have a roller bag design that I can retire on. I don't have to sell another bat. When the roller bag hits the market, I could quit selling bats and I could retire on the roller bag market. It's an amazing product. Amazing. When people see it, they'll be like, holy crap. I keep talking about this like, come on, dude, it's a roller bag. What could you possibly do with a roller bag? Trust me, we did greatness with this roller bag.
Sweet. I'd love to get my hands on one of them.
So would everybody else. We've been working on this thing for a year and a half, prototyping. There's a lot going on with it. It's not going to be cheap, but it'll be worth every penny when it's done, and I'm sure of that. But anyway, forgot where I was going with this, but we will be having some tournaments, probably February. Sounds about right now, but we'll have to see. Who knows what the governments are going to do with COVID? I keep reading about how there's spikes again, and I think COVID will disappear November 3rd, but we'll see. Look forward to the April 16th through 18th is tentative right now with USA softball for a super qualifier, and I'm sure lower divisions as well, and it'll be a bash for cash. Typically I like to give away bats, but at the open level, most of those guys are playing for bat manufacturers, and bats don't do them any good. They really don't. So we're going to try to give them some cash. I'm not afraid of giving out cash. I lost $80,000 at the War by the Shore. I'd do it all over again. We had a blast there. I think the War by the Shore taught a lot of people how difficult it is to hit a hot dot far. And you have Kyle Pearson and Ryan Harvey and Branch and Dylan and Flip and Griner and Big John. And out of all those guys, 13 home runs were hit in 5 games. The hot dot's a great equalizer. I'd love to see U-Trip switch to it. Not because it suits my bat better, but because it's ball. I mean, I'm not a fan personally of watching every guy get up there at the super major when it's unlimited and just hacking to go over the fence. I'm not a fan of that. Um, some people are. I'm not. I didn't mind. I mean, we lost. I lost $80,000 basically on a 5-3 game on a ball hit by Junior that didn't even break 30 miles per hour, but it found a hole through the infield and broke the tiebreaker in the bottom of the sixth. So
Was that the game? Was that the game you guys had money on the line?
Yeah, it was $100,000. And you know what? The viewership of that was pretty nuts. When we looked at the numbers, almost 600,000 people tuned in to watch those games online. That's nuts. It was great, and we had a great time. Again, the only thing I would have changed was the outcome. Nobody gave us a chance to win a game, so when we spanked them the first night, I got, I heard about the conversations that took place between, the coaches and the team. They were very worried, like, what did we get ourselves into? But see, we had just beaten Helmer and them, so we knew we were good. Helmer hadn't lost a game up until they played us at Corky's that year, and we run ruled them twice. So I knew we were good. They didn't give us much chance, neither did anybody else. So when we beat them in the first game, and then we go to the second game, and we're just one run from going being up 2-0, and I call timeout, and I go out and I tell my guys, hey, let's walk Harvey. Riley's right behind. Riley's a great hitter, but right now he's struggling, and Harvey's not. Let's let Harvey on base, because it doesn't matter if we lose by 1 or 2. If Riley goes, then Riley goes. But they decided to pitch to Harvey, and what did Harvey do? Harvey did Harvey. He hit the ball out, game over in the 8th inning, extra innings, 9-8. Now, that we can't, there's no way to go back and say we pitched to Riley, we get him out. We've been successful at that point. I don't even think he had a hit yet. But if we win that game, it's 2-0. There's no way they come back from that. Instead, we lose by the 1 run. And we come back the next day, we lose by 3 runs. In the early morning, in the afternoon, in Game 4, we smashed them again, like 15-3 or something. I say smashed. It doesn't sound very good for super players, but on those fields with the wind blowing in, that was pretty good scoring. And then the last day, we lost 5-3. Look, talking about that team for a second. There's a lot of players on that team. In fact, probably just about every single one of them are going to be Hall of Famers. Andy, Junior, Reyna, Branch, Dylan. Briggs is still young, but I think at some point, by the time he's done, he's probably the most complete player playing out there. You literally can put him anywhere, and he's not going to hurt you. There are so many people on that team, but they're all going to be Hall of Famers. And so what a great experience that was for us to play against them. But anyway, I've challenged Helmer to the same event. I want to take on Helmer's team in the same event. And Helmer ain't afraid of nobody either. Helmer's no pussy. He'll be more than happy to take me up on that offer. And one of these days, we're going to get it done. Helmer's a competitor. He gets fired up. I'd like to see him behave a little bit differently sometimes. I'm not going to go into detail on that. But you can't question the guy's fire to play. He's arguably the best hitter that's ever played slow pitch. I mean, I know you people are going to go talk about the Bruce Meads and some of the guys from way back in the day, Rick Wheeler, and there were some really good hitters. But I watched Helmer make Jose Canseco shit himself when we were playing. Jose played for a lot of people don't know, but Jose Canseco played on my senior team in 2013 and 14. And he's a pretty cool dude. I mean, the stuff that guy has to deal with. I was there at the ball field, and there's this little drunk guy, probably smaller than me, 150 pounds, maybe soaking wet. And he's drunk, and he's saying just, oh, you're a fucking dick, pussy, he's terrible, just all kinds of stuff. How he didn't turn around and just smash the guy is beyond me. I would have. And, when I go places, I get grief too from people online, the keyboard cowboys, and all I say is, look, if you want to talk to me, I'm at every event. Come up to me. I don't have a posse around. You know, I'm there. If you want to talk, let's talk. So anyway, we're going to do that thing with Helmer pretty soon. And obviously it's going to have to be with hot dots because, or 52s, because we don't make a U-trip bat. We are in talks with One Nation, but I haven't really seen them being able to do anything just yet. I don't know. They might be. In it, we had a contract with. Let me talk about real quick this extortion that takes place with the associations. You know, every year you pay a licensing fee. Okay, and it's anywhere from 10 to 20. Well, it's anywhere from $10,000 to $40,000 depending on what association. That licensing fee is a yearly thing so that you may make a bat that year that has got their stamp on it. Well, what they do, I haven't experienced this with ASA because I have a working relationship with them, but if you decide that it's no longer economically feasible to continue making a bat for that certain association that doesn't have membership, they still want you to pay the $10,000 to $40,000 a year just so your bat that you made 3 years ago that you already paid for can stay on their approved list. If you say no, they remove it and your customers are screwed. So it's nothing short of extortion. And you if you ever decide, or if, God forbid, with COVID, some of these U-Trip companies have to go out of business, if they can't continue to pay that licensing fee, their bats are going to be banned. And all the bats that the customers have, they're screwed. And so it's extortion. That's what takes place. Look, I've said before, when I'm done, I'm writing a book on everything I've experienced. And you guys will get a kick out of what I have to say. There's a lot of stuff I know that's taking place about a lot of people, and it's going to come out. That's just all there is to it. I can't talk about it now. I'm in a certain situation that I can't talk about as well, but when that situation is done, I'm talking about it, and I'm letting the whole world know exactly what these people have been doing for a long, long, long time. And well, that's all I can say about it. So when I'm done, I'm going to write a book, or I'm going to do a podcast, and I'm going to spill the beans on all these cocksuckers.
Well, I'll have you on my show for sure. We can definitely talk about that.
Yeah, well, it's just sad. The industry's very corrupt. It's everybody's in everybody's pocket, and if you're on the right side of the fence, you get a lot of favorites. Look, there's a couple manufacturers that I believe are the best in the business, and they can't make a U-Trip bat comparable to some of the others. I know why, because I make bats and I study bats. It's bullshit. So why would I jump in knowing I'm going to be forced to make a mediocre product like these other poor companies are? I'm not. They're not getting my licensing money, so my customers, who I know are loyal and avid followers of what I do, but they're going to swing an inferior product because that's what I have to give them, because that's all that they're going to approve. I'm not playing that game. Like I said, I'm not getting on my knees for nobody.
You know what, Carl, I'd like to say, man, this has been a great interview tonight. And go ahead. Exactly. And that's what I like. It's good to be able to talk to people that are real, you know what I mean? And just throw it out there and let everybody know what's going on. So you've been very informative tonight. What else do you like to say before we wind down on the show tonight? Is there anything else that your group Monsta guys are doing?
Well, no, the Monsta family knows how I feel. I talk to them regularly. I'm literally available 24/7. I don't get a day off. I've worked 11 days straight. When my guys were off, we have fast pitch bats that we're behind on, so I spent 18 hours Saturday and Sunday building these bats myself by hand to get them out. So our family, what I'd like to say is this, to anybody who might be listening, either now or later, I have a big problem with the way players, especially upper-level players, are disrespecting the game, their opponents, the umpires, and the associations. And I'd like to see that change. Look, the bat flips and the bayous and hitting at the pitcher and staring them down, there's no room in the game for that. At the end of the day, we work. We have to be able to get up the next day and go to work, and nobody needs to be in jail. So I would like to see, hopefully these guys are listening, and I would like to see that change. I saw people smashing fans out of the dugouts in OKC when we were whooping ass. I saw them throwing water coolers around. I just like to see people have a little bit more respect for the game, for their managers, for their sponsors, for the associations, umpires especially. Look, I umpired for 5 years. It's miserable. I mean, miserable. Sometimes I don't think I've ever played in a game, and I'm sure a lot of guys can't say this because I've played against them and know how they feel, but I've never at any point felt like an umpire was deliberately trying to cheat me out of the game. He just made a bad call and sucked. You know, I've done it too. I've umpired and I see something and my eyes lied to me. And walking back to home plate, getting ready for the next pitch, I'm like, how did you fuck that up so bad? You know, it happens. So that's my biggest thing is, let's clean this up a little bit. I heard about some poor guy got killed in Texas a month or two ago over a softball game. I mean, I would just like to see the overall atmosphere in a game chill a little bit. It's just softball. I don't care how much money you make playing it. It's a girls' game for the most part. The guy's not throwing cheese. He's not throwing crazy stuff. So, hit your home run and walk back to the dugout. No need to throw your bat up in the air, chest bump. Just hit it with dignity. We all know what you did. We actually appreciate more the less theatrics you throw in there than the other way. So that's my biggest thing. I would like to see that change. I don't know if it will, but I'd like to see that change. I think that's probably the most important message for the sport is let's bring back some respect to the game.
Yeah.
And each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I see a lot of people during the course of the game chirp and say a lot of bad things. And next year they're on that team with that guy. What an awkward moment that is, right? You just ran your mouth and said horrible shit with some guy because you think you had your teammates back. Well, now you're stuck on a team, and those guys you had in your dugout last time you popped off, they ain't there no more. So now what?
I can't tell you how many times that happened to me. As a pitcher, everybody has to toss, man. And I try to pitch a little different outside the box. And so people don't like my antics on the mound because they just normally don't see stuff like that. And so I always get people to pop off, and I'm one of those guys. I'm like, bring it, because I love line drive. I'm a little different than most. But it keeps me in the game. But it also keeps me focused. And I just didn't understand that. But when someone pops off in the dugout, I like to go on the mound.
Well, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. You do what you do. I'm at that age now. I don't play anymore, but a couple of years ago I still did. I have to pitch because my shoulder's blown out. I'm not a big guy, but in my day I was very fast. I had a cannon for an arm. Threw in the low 90s for a guy that's 5'5". That's pretty good. It's gone. It's shredded. I was never a hitter ever. I mean, on a good day, if you got 600 out of me, I got MVP for crying out loud. That's how good of a day I had. But, I just think that there's a way to carry yourself and there's a way not to carry yourself. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's not a difficult sport. There's a lot of people who think very highly of themselves because they're pumped up on roids and hitting balls 500 feet. At some point, they're going to regret that. They're going to regret but we both know it's very prevalent in what's going on. It's hard. You'd be hard pressed to find a team that doesn't have half the roster shooting up. And for what, $500 for the weekend? Some guys are lucky to make a little bit more. These people got to know they're taking 20 years off the back of their life. They just are. It isn't worth it. Even professional players who have taken steroids and who are now dying or are already dead now, unfortunately, who made 50, 60, $100 million are saying, I made the biggest mistake ever. So these guys that are out there doing this stuff, I get why they don't want to let their teammates down, but it's not that important. It really isn't. I'd like to see that go away too. I think it's not bad for the sport because obviously these guys are hitting some amazing balls, but it's bad for their health, and that worries me. I mean, I'd like to see them not do that. They're going to have grandkids someday.
Yeah.
The only thing I keep going right now because the amount of stress I'm under attack. What people don't know is I've been sued by, and am currently in lawsuits, by some of the largest companies in the world. Why? Because we're making a difference. We're making an impact in their pocketbook. And their response is, let's sue them. We're winning so far every time, but it's just something I have to deal with. Like I said, I've been offered some buyout money, and when you say no, sometimes their reaction to the no isn't very good, and you have to, deal with stuff. So we're dealing with it. I like where we sit. I can't go into specifics, but I think we're going to be done pretty soon. If not, then we just keep riding out till the list finally over. At some point it'll be over. But yeah, so we're trying to give more sponsor money to more teams. We just can't give out sponsor money to league teams. What I'm trying to do is help Rich Crest and USA Softball be better than USSSA Softball. Right now, the package that UTRIP puts on the field is incredible. It's so good. The umpires are good. Look, when we did War by the Shore, we got some umpires that I was told to stay away from. But I'll tell you what, I never at any point felt like we were getting ripped off in that War by the Shore. There were a lot of people talking and chatting, but I was right there. Those umpires were amazing and so good that Overlag, I recommended to USA Softball that they reach out to him so he can train their umpires because that guy was really good. Now, he was like me, a bit of a hard ass, but he's good at what he does. So I want to get USA Softball to where the guys that are all fired up to play UTRIP are like, well, no, let's not go play UTRIP. Let's go play USA Softball. And the only way to do that, there's two things to do. I recommended to Rich Crest to up the performance for ASA. So that's people's number one issue, by the way, with USA Softball is they can't hit the ball 500 feet or 450 like they can in the stadium. But the fence is only so freaking far, so you don't need to. And look, if you watch the USA, what do they call that? It wasn't Border Battle this year; it was something else. The runs were pretty good.
I got selected for the Border Battle team, but the problem is you can't play until Canada opens up.
Yeah, the Border Battle process is a little bit more. It's not diplomatic. A lot of people want to say it's political. It's not really that. You have people who make selections, and right now it's really difficult. I mean, how do you vote out a guy like Wegman, who's done so much for the sport, but is he really the best pick, the best player for Team USA at this point in his career with all his injuries and stuff? My personal opinion is no. He's still a great player, and he's definitely a Hall of Famer and one of the best that's ever put on a uniform. But, how do you leave him off? Especially, he represents Easton, which is a great brand. It's a big brand. I heard some news the other day. I don't know if it's true. I'm not going to go into it because I don't know if it's true. But there are people on those Team USAs that don't belong. It's just that simple. And I know that's going to hurt some feelings, but Flip's finally getting his due. Flip should have been playing on that team for years. Flip showed at War by the Shore that he was the man. That guy was unstoppable. And what people don't know about Flip, even though we had our falling out, he was the best teammate I've ever seen. You could strike out, you could drop a ball, you could lose a game on something stupid. He's the first person on the top of that dugout, man. Hey, shake it off. We got your back. People don't know that about Flip because he's an intense competitor. But at the same time, I never heard that guy in the 2 years he represented my company get on a human being for doing something that he knew he shouldn't have done. Super positive guy. So proved that he was a superstar. And in my opinion, if I'm starting a team today, I'm taking Flip still. So anyway, that's
right
it.
On, Carl. Right on, Carl.
I like to see the game. Answer your question short is, I'd like to see people's attitude and the way they carry themselves change a little bit. Respect the fact that you've been given a place to play for money in a lot of these instances, or at least for product that they flip for money, and show some respect and appreciation for that when you show up. Don't get mouthy with umpires. Don't get mouthy with the other players. Your sponsors don't have to do this. We don't have to put out the kind of money we have. Let's take Dan Smith, for instance, whom I'm mad at, kind of, because he took my two best players the week of Supers. He informed his players that he has quite the investment in them, so I understand, but I'm still mad at him. Dan, if you're listening, I'm mad, but not really. You take away Matuzak and Collins and Brad Carlson from your lineup the week of Supers, and we were still an out away from the if game against Helmer and crew again. You put those three guys back in our lineup, and we did the cardinal sin, and I knew better, but I listened to my team. We did not have a backup pitcher. All we had was Farron. Farron said he was good, and lo and behold, he got hurt after the first game, and McBride, we picked up McBride at the last minute. He came in and pitched because that's all we had, and did an amazing job. He took us to, like I said, we were up, 8 or 9 in the last inning, and those guys being those guys, look, Helmer he's been getting a lot of grief about his teams lately, but Helmer knows how to pick his guys. I think my opinion is he's a little bit too hard on them. If you ask my players, I bumped heads with a few of them because I tell the guys, you give me your best swings until we're out of home runs. And if that means you guys hit 16 solos, so fucking be it. Singles don't sell bats. When's the last time you sat in the stands and saw a guy hit a base hit and the guys behind you said, did you see that base hit? I never hit one of those bats. Never. That's the answer. Never. But you see a guy come up there even with nobody on and it's the top of the first inning and he's the leadoff and he hits a 400-footer, yeah, he's going to get a little grief from everybody in the stands, but they're going to say, holy fuck, did you see that ball go? So I tell my guys, home run sells bats. And if you guys want more money next year, sell bats. Hit home runs.
Exactly.
And I think Helmer can put some pressure on his guys and try to make them play the game in situations where he probably should let them swing away and trust that they're not going to make a mistake. And so it's difficult to play for him because his expectations are we're going to win. We have to win. Anything less than that is unacceptable. And well, being the figure that he is, he's an imposing figure, and I think sometimes he can make it a little difficult on his guys.
Well, if you ever need a guy in the pants, you can always call me.
I honestly didn't know you pitched at all, and we could have got some other people. I was just told that we were going to be okay, and we were not. So, but
it happens.
We lost we got knocked in the losers bracket by Helmer and crew, just 3 runs, and then we were up by 8 or 9 going into the last inning. And again, get back to his guys, because they didn't free swing early, they had enough home runs to win the game. We had 2 outs, and our left fielder dropped the ball that would have ended the game. We would have went to the if game. That just freak things, balls knuckle, they do weird stuff, but if we get that out, maybe we're super champs again. But we're going to try again. Whaley's put together a pretty good team this year. You got to see the lineup of the guys we got.
Hey, once you guys get that lineup, go ahead and share with me. We can talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a very impressive lineup. It's going to surprise a lot of people who we got.
Well, I gotta wind down tonight, Carl. I got some things I got planned ahead. I enjoyed your time on the show, man. I appreciate what you're gonna do for what's his name, Bobby Luke. And I'll get that information over to you. I'll have you connect with Jim, I believe it's Jim, and have him come in contact with you, and you guys can go back and forth.
Yeah, hey, we'll do what we can. We try to help out as much as possible. I hope this helps. It's a very serious situation that he's in. There's no question about it. And, unfortunately, the outcome for him is in God's hands. I mean, for the most part. And hopefully, God grants him the strength and courage to get through it. But we'll just have to see. And in the meantime, we can do a little bit to help him out a little bit.
And I appreciate that, Carl. We're gonna get together. I'll get some information. I can't say enough. I appreciate that a lot, Carl. That was a lot, especially in NorCal. It's a lot of times it's tough, especially these days. With COVID and everything. It's tough to do anything right these days. But I appreciate you for making things come true.
Well, look, we've had a blessed year. Back when all this hit, nobody knew what was going to happen. And I know from personal experience, every single company, even the big ones, were really sweating bullets. We don't get people back. I mean, U-Trip went they started playing probably earlier than they should have, but they probably did it because they didn't have a choice. Money doesn't grow on trees, and you have to keep it going. We've been blessed, even though all these bad things have happened in 2020. We shattered our sales records. We had to hire new people. So, the least we can do is give back a little bit, because we've been given so much from our fan base and customer base that that's the least we can do. So no problem. We do this stuff often. You come up with another family that is in need and we can help, just reach out to me. It doesn't have to be here. I actually prefer that it's not this kind of thing, because I like to do things more quietly. Because I see a lot of posts where, hey, this is what I did to help out these people. And did you do that for them, or did you do that for you so you can come here and talk about it? You know what I mean? So I like to do things privately. So if you know people, PM me. And if we can help, we will. We always have.
Thank you, Carl. I appreciate it.
If you're serious about a JBI bat.
Yes.
Look, we're doing a new program. We're allowing groups, people like you who have a following, who are contributing to softball, but they don't have money to buy an exclusive bat. So we're fronting the money, we're selling them on our sites, and we're giving them a nice spiff. So these guys that didn't do anything but started hitting a ball in their basement or out at their local ball fields, they're making good money on a bat that we're labeling for them, and we're basically financing for them, because I appreciate what they're doing.
That is awesome.
Nope, I don't do it for everybody, because I do it for the people that I feel are contributing to the sport, and not for profit, but because that's what they like to do. Like Dan Allen, the Bat Hound. A lot of people don't know that guy's a pastor. That's what he does. He's a pastor. He loves to play softball, and he's a pastor. So the guy's got nothing but integrity. Christian James, same thing, nothing but integrity.
That's when I grew up playing softball. I played for Capital Christian Center, and that's how I got started in softball.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, these are good people, and if I can help them um, put an extra X amount of dollars in their pocket because I appreciate what they're doing, then so be it.
Yeah.
And, you know, yeah. We have Christian James. I gave him a signature bat for all that he's done for the sport, and not just Monsta, but before he even picked up the first Monsta, the guy had raised just hundreds of thousands of dollars for children's hospitals doing his um, and stuff like that. So the guy's a fantastic human being. Yet he gets all these horrible. Wow.
Well,
you die of cancer. That's terrible. Anyway, let's wind down a little bit.
I just want to say, when I first started softball, I had two goals. One goal was to make it to the Major World Series, which I've done that several times. And the other one is to have a bat named after me. That would be my life goal.
We're doing it for Jesse Rhino. We're doing it for, we did it for Ross McNeil and Swing Boss. And I do it for all my players because here's the one thing I found out about the top players in the world. They don't sell bats for you. The performance of the bat sells. Ryan Dacko's signature was on the DNA in 2015. He was D-rated at the time, and we sold almost 10,000 of those bats. Nobody even knew who he was, but the bat performed. So now you get
fire.
That's why, you know, KP and Harvey and Brungard, they get the best of the products a company has to deliver because they have to pay those guys. They know they're going to sell, so it's basically they're not having to work any harder or really add any payroll because they already know they're going to sell X amount of bats. If they put his name on it, we give them.
I ain't worried about getting paid.
Now, well, look, we don't do shit for free. I'm not here to make money on you. So all these guys that we're doing them for, they get royalties. I'm not going to use your name and put money in my pocket only. If we do something for you, you're going to get money.
Wow.
And, you know, you can use it for your show. You can use it to help Mr. Luke. You can use it to help a family. Whatever you want to do with it, I encourage you to do whatever you can do to keep doing this.
Right.
So like, I think you were saying you have Helmer on tomorrow or next, whenever it is. You know, nobody's got more stories to tell, I'm sure, than Brett Helmer. Nobody's won more championships than Brett Helmer. Nobody's had more people come through his doors. Nobody's seen what Helmer has seen. I'm sure he's going to be an excellent interview. And, you know, so I'd like to see you turn that money into, you know, maybe you can have someone on standby who knows how to get me to come on when it's time to come on. You got to pay him, get that high-tech equipment in there. But no, I mean, yeah, we're going to make this happen. We're going to have a JBI bat and work with my guy, and we'll make it happen. And if you only sell 2, then you know you suck because my bat it's you. So
with a name like Monsta, I won't have a problem selling that bat.
Well, again, if I put Carl on a bat, I don't think I'm going to sell many bats. I'm not. I mean, again, you have a big fan base, but there's probably a bigger fan base that don't care for me because I say what's on my mind, and sometimes it's not what you want to hear.
I love those guys.
I know for certain that when I die, my wife and my kids will be at my bedside. I couldn't tell you about anybody else. So, for the most part, I live my life for them. And if a supposed friend is upset because I don't give them a discount or a free bat, then I guess they were never really my friend.
Nope.
My family members don't ask me for bats.
Yeah, don't expect that. That's horrible.
Well, my family accepts me for the asshole that I am. God bless them.
All right, Carl, I got to wind down for tonight. Again, I appreciate everything you've done. And you guys heard it first. Carl said the JBI bat's on its way.
Now we got to figure out what are we going to call it? JBI?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. Just I'm gonna hook you up with my artist, and you guys work out something really cool.
Okay.
Don't be boring. Step out like your psychedelic shit going on there. I'm glad I didn't pop any acid before I came on. Jesus.
I know, man. It's an attention grabber.
By the way, there is a stigma going around that I am some kind of drug addict. But let's talk about that for a second, all right? I have never taken a drug that wasn't prescribed to me. Now, I will say this. My prescriptions have ran out and I've had them refilled by questionable sources. But I have never taken an illegal drug or one that wasn't prescribed to me at some point in my life. And guys, give me a break on the Ambien thing, all right? Jesus Christ already. Even you had to bring it up. You know, if the people who take Ambien get it. That shit makes you do stuff that you would normally never do. You think alcohol is bad. My wife got to the point, I don't sleep well. My brain doesn't turn off. That's good and bad. It keeps coming up with all these great ideas for softball, but it doesn't let me sleep. So I tried Ambien for a while, and I'll give you a story real quick because I know you want to wind down, but everybody was asleep. It was 3 in the morning. I got up from a dead sleep, grabbed the keys to my car, grabbed my dog, which I never do, got in the car, drove to the local liquor store at 3 in the morning. I bought 8 ice creams, and I ate them all as soon as I got home. And to boot, I bought sunglasses at 3 in the morning. Now, my wife wakes up and says, "What the hell did you do last night?" I says, "What are you talking about? There's 8 wrappers for ice creams on the counter and sunglasses." And then it for some reason, I remembered, oh, yeah, I got in the car and drove. And I remember being so high from the Ambien, I pulled over. And then I realized, well, fuck, I'm only like 300 feet from home. I got to get home before a cop finds me. So Ambien is bad, and it should not be legal. It should not let anybody do it. And then I go in there and create a GoFundMe account because Rick Schiffauer wants to charge everybody to watch War by the Shore, and I didn't think that was right. And I have not lived that down since. Ever since that GoFundMe thing that I did, I don't even know what time it was, but I was hired to kite on Ambien. I can't live it down. Guys, I'm not a habitual drug user. I don't even like smoking pot. I do it, but I don't like it. I'm not claiming to be Bill Clinton. I did inhale, but I don't like my brain not being normal because I like the information I get. But yeah, so no, I don't. Actually, that's a lot of the reason why I broke my team up. There were things going on that I don't approve of. I'm a very straight guy. I'm as honest as I can be. I wake up every morning telling myself, today I'm going to be perfect. I've yet to do that. But I wake up every day and say, today's the day you're going to be perfect. I'm going to die. I never have achieved that, but I try. So I'm not the bad guy everybody thinks. I am honest, which doesn't sit well with everybody. I'm certainly not a drug addict. Uh, but anyway, I just wanted to clear the air because I hear that a lot. And I'm like, I'm all about money, and I'm a drug addict, and the money and the drugs couldn't be further from the truth because I haven't given myself a penny of the profit since I started the company. I pay myself less than I run the whole company, yet I pay myself less than everybody else is paying their engineers, and I'm the engineer and the CEO and the coach of the team and the production manager. I do everything at the shop. So it's not the money. I grew up eating ketchup sandwiches and realized that no matter what, how much money you have in the bank, you're going to find a way to get to the next day, and life's going to be fine. So I don't get caught up in that. Anyway, it was a great pleasure coming on your show. I've been on a couple. This one was definitely the funnest one so far, and not to knock the other ones. They've all been good. But yeah, someday when I'm in free and clear and I've sold my company, you're going to want me on the show because I got a lot to say about a lot of people and a lot of things, and you're all going to be floored when you hear what's going on behind the scenes these days in the back world.
I can't wait,
I
Carl.
can't wait, Carl.
And thanks again for everything. But we will keep in touch, and I'll be happy back on the show for sure. And I don't know why Facebook hates so much. Because I don't know why I thought that was on, but it comes straight on the show. So.
Well, it really came down to we weren't friends, and that's why. When you sent me the friend request, it opened it up.
Got it.
I don't know why it worked the other day, though. Remember, it was on for a split second. But
Who knows?
As soon as you sent me the friend request, it went right through. So now that we're friends, at least on social media, we can have these conversations more.
Awesome.
I'm going to do some podcasts myself because I want to get out there and talk about a lot of things. We just signed Crystal Bustos. I haven't really been able to use her yet because we're just now getting the fast pitch bats out there. And once we have an inventory for her to work with, I can start sending her out because she's still, a big hero for many, many young women out there. And she's a little bit like me. We're outspoken. And so that may put some people off, but I dig her. We get along very good, and I think it's going to be a good relationship. But maybe we can have her come and talk a little bit.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I want to do some podcast stuff too. But I'm probably going to have the same problem you are, figure out how to turn shit on and make it work. So I have to get some smart people in. We're going to probably do another reality show. We did the one in 2018. We're going to win the Super in 2021. I'm telling you that right now. So everybody listen. Monsta is going to win Super.
You can fly me in. I can do the interviews for the whole team. And you can talk all the shit you want.
Well, I'm not here to talk shit, but I will talk the truth. You gotta understand, shit refers to you saying stuff that isn't true.
Oh.
In my book, that's what talking shit is. If it's true,
you can talk the truth.
You talk the truth, goddamn right. There's a difference between talking shit and talking truth. And I talk truth. And unfortunately, it's interpreted as shit because it doesn't favor the person that I'm talking about with. So, yeah, I don't talk shit, I talk truth. But anyway, let's do this again sometime. I'm going to do some of what you're doing. Off the scenes, when we're done, let's talk about, give me the link to help Mr. Luke, and then let's get going on your JVI bat. Now remember, it's NSA because we don't do U-Trip.
That's fine with me, Carl. I appreciate you on the show tonight. We're going to sign off tonight. I got a couple more things I want to talk about, guys. But Carl, thanks again.
Yep.
And I will definitely keep you in touch, and I'll give everybody updates. If you have anything you want that out, I'll be more than happy to announce it on my show.
Well, I appreciate it. At some point in the near future, just for my health, I'm going to be turning over most of the social media stuff. Health is the main reason, but the other reason is we're trying to get more people to like me again. So the less I'm on social media, the better that's going to be. But anyway, there's a lot ahead for us. We're really going to make a lot of noise in fast pitch immediately, and then we're already got our BB core bat being tested, and it's better than anything on the market. But that doesn't mean anything because it hasn't been through certification. I tell everybody, people are out there. There's a lot of startups right now, and they're taking these prototype bats out and having people swing. Oh yeah, these things are bitching. But if they haven't been through certification, they're not even a real bat. It's just that.
All right, Carl.
Thanks. Appreciate
you have
it.
a wonderful evening.
You too. I'm take a siesta.
All right, brother. Take care. Have a good night. And thanks again, Carl, for everything you do. And just so you know, you come across as a stand-up guy. Something I think anybody would like to have as their friend.
Well, hey, I have your back. I don't have very many friends, but the ones I do, I have your back. Even my worst enemy, if I saw you laying in the gutter, I'd help you out. even though I saw you, throw a brick through my window. If you're in need, I'm gonna help.
Amen, Carl.
Amen, Carl.
Have a wonderful
Have a
night.
wonderful night.
This is
This is
JBI
JBI Talk.
All 8 of you people, we appreciate you tuning in.
It'll get a lot more views. I can promise you that.
I know it will. It'll be shared and viewed, and we'll probably get some PMs.
And we had minor difficulties. I wasn't able to post on my main side. When I come up with you, we had 40 views going. And that was just the start of the show.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it'll be viewed. Like I said, I'm sure I'll get some PMs and probably some text messages. But fuck it. It's what I
have a good night.
Have a good night.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
So there you have it, guys. That was Carl. Carl came on. You guys heard it. You guys heard it first right here. Carl's going to make the JBI bat. JBI bat's coming out to a store near you. Also, JZ, All World Softball. They're making JBI gear, shirts coming to you. I think we're doing 3 different shirts. So just to let you guys know that JBI gear and JBI bats, hats, everything is coming out to a store near you. So stay tuned, guys, because there ain't nothing but JBI gear coming up. You know what I mean? You guys heard it first right here. JBI coming to you live. This is a Wednesday night. Tune in on Friday night. We're going to have another good show. Peace out.